Yes, people, what we're saying, I hope everyone's good. We are back with another one, and as you've probably seen by the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about tolerance. This has been a game changer for me, just managing and lowering my tolerance. Massively lowering it, to be honest with you, but managing it is another key part, because a lot of people can lower the tolerance just by taking a break. But if you're using this as medication, then you'll understand why you might not be able to take that break for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. And if you do, you're gonna have flare-ups and other issues that you're not dealing with when you're taking the medication. So there is other ways to manage your tolerance and to lower your tolerance other than just taking a break. And that's what I've slowly found out over the last couple of years. And I might be honest, I'm proud of myself how much of a change I've made with how much I have to use and how much or how little now I have to spend on it in comparison to what I was. So yeah, as always, I just want to say first thing off the bat, don't take any of this as advice, legal advice, medical advice, whatever it may be. Speak to a doctor, speak to a lawyer. I'm some geezer on the internet, mate. I'm just hitting record on my phone. I'm just talking about my experience. So don't take it as anything more than that, because that's all it is. But I do think that me watching videos like this made me understand, you know what, I'm not on my own with this kind of cycle of beating myself up on how much I was spending every month. If you're going through 5 zips a month, you know, okay, if the right guy's there and it comes off at the right time and blah, 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 if it's working right for you, you don't have to spend that much money. And that's probably how I cracked my tolerance up as well, because you get the right plugs and it don't cost you a lot. But then when that, you know, falls by the wayside, something goes wrong, whatever it may be, these issues happen a lot on the legacy. And essentially you end up being left in a situation where you have to get that same quality, you're spending 170, 180, 210 or more. And you can even spend that sort of money and not get that same quality as what you were getting previously from the right geezer. And that's where it started to become an issue. And I started to be like, yo, I'm going for a lot of dough here. And it's not worth it at that point, because you're thinking, yo, but then you stop and your symptoms are coming back. So that this is where I started to, it was part of my journey of understanding this plant as a medicine, and not just, you know, hearing it in songs and thinking, yeah, it's a medicine, bro, but actually treating it as one. And I think that's the key thing when you're switching over from that legacy to the medical. This is something that you start seeing it in a different light. But to me, there are 2 parts in terms of, like I said, with managing and lowering your tolerance. But there are 4 sort of key things that I think that I've done over the last 2 years that have helped me to do that. And I've gone from that 5 zips down to like 1 to 2 zips max. Never am I going up to 60 Gs most months, to be honest with you. It's more like the 30 to 50 mark now, which is mad to say, because that'd be a week. Lots of times that'd be a week. And a huge part of it is down to smoking, right? We all know this, so I know a lot of people are going to think, fuck's sake, I don't want to hear this. That sound, but honest to God, yeah, these 4 pillars, I say pillars, sounds like these 4 things that have basically helped me to decrease my tolerance and manage my tolerance. Weirdly, I was thinking about it before, they all start with the letter D, so we're going to go with it. It's the 4D approach. Just think about that when you're talking about tolerance. But the first one is dry herb vaping. And genuinely, I got on this, if you're an OG to the channel, you already know, I got on dry herb vaping before I was on medical. It's something that I realised, look, I'm consuming this plant and it's helping me in lots of ways more than not consuming it is. But I don't want to be mindlessly consuming it anymore, just keeping going through more and more and more. And I started to learn about, you know, obviously the effects of smoking, carbon monoxide, all those types of things, and you're feeling the effects in your lungs, in your nose, in your throat every morning. So it is maybe not everyone, but I was. And I started to think, right, so what other ways are they consuming? I'm not the biggest edible geezer. The oils either is not the ever, and to be honest with you, oils are not something I've ever really tried. Edibles though, they're not really the one for me. I have used them over the years, but it's not really the type of relief I'm looking for. It's too long lasting, and it can kind of creep into other parts of my life that I don't need it to. So basically, yeah, what I'd say is going for dry herb vapes from smoking. When you're smoking, you're destroying about 60% of your flower, right? 60%. It's about 50 to 60%. I'm not a scientist, obviously, but it's about 50 to 60% from what I understand. So if you think about it, right, you've got your G and a half in a zoo. Let's just make it a G because it's easier to calculate, to work out. You've got your G. So 20% of that, maybe, 25, but let's make it 20 so it's easier. 20% of that is actually going to be the bits that you're going to get the effects from. The rest you're just burning plant and inhaling burned plant. So the 20% of it that's actually there that's useful, that's like what, 0.2 Gs or 200 mg. Now 60% of that is getting destroyed when you're burning it. 60% of it. You're only actually getting the effects because there's pockets of vaporization within that joint that are occurring, and you're inhaling the vaporized terpenes as well as smoke and cannabinoids and flavonoids, all those other bits, the goodness in there. But what I'm getting at is 60% of that's destroyed. So if you've got 200 mg of, you know, active ingredient, should we say, and 60% of that's in let's just go to 50, it's even easier. 50% of it's destroyed, right? You've only got 100 mg in there, and then some of it's just going to go off the end, just burning away. It'll go out a couple times potentially, especially if you do make the change, which I did, from tobacco to pures. Mixed with tobacco, I'll be honest with you, it's not even the same feeling. It's not for me anymore. I did it for way too long. I eventually made the switch over to pures, and then eventually used the same technique I did to switch from tobacco mix to pures, to switch from pures to vaping. Because of this, what I realized, I'm thinking about it, so you've got 10% of 100 mg left there. Some of that's going to be wasted away. Let's say you actually only ingest like 80 mg of that, right? If you think about it, if you're vaporizing something and you're going to get 80%, up to 80% with the right vaporizer, out of a small amount, you can go for something that's 20% still, and what, let's say 20% of, I'm not the best at maths. Let's even say you're putting in a half a G to make it nice and easy. Most bowls are nowhere near that for vapes. Let's say you put half a G, then there's going to be 100 mg actually in it. If you were to consume 80% of that half a G, which is 100 mg active ingredient, stay with me people, you will vaporize it and you'll get 80% of that out of it. So you're talking 80 mg, which is the same as if you just smoked a G. And if you get the right vapes, you can really push it to how much percentage you're going to extract from it. There's way more positives to what you'll dial in, as well as how it's helped me with my air path, like my air path, sound like I'm a vape, sound with my airways and my breathing, things like that. Switching to vapes has helped me that way. But dropping my tolerance has been the biggest change, because genuinely it's gone down, like I say, about half to 75%, depending on, you know, what's going on. And like, I could consume more or less flour sometimes when I was smoking, but with vaping, it's just that bracket from top to bottom of how much I'm going to use has come down so much, at least half. Generally, most people find at least half, if not more. So I think that's the first one, is dry herb vaping, right? I've spoke about it loads of times on the channel, so I won't go too deep on it, but it makes a huge difference, people. Also tying into dry herb vaping is the device which you're using, because I do think, I didn't give this a separate, so it'd be the 5D approach. I feel like the 4D works, but device and dry vaping, it kind of ties in together. You need a good device. If you've got a bad, crappy, cheap dry herb vape, it's not going to do the same. You will end up going through that same G&R just to get them same effects, because a lot of it gets wasted. They don't work properly. If you get something premium that's high quality, you know, whether it depends on what you're looking for, but things like the Tiny Mic 2, the Venti, the Utillian, a DynaVap, something that's high quality, that's got the ability to extract properly from a small amount. Bowl vapes work great as well, but that's another thing that I feel like, unless you've got that discipline with your tolerance, you need to leave them for the moment, because they can be very yeah, I've done another video talking about that, so I don't want to go too deep on the bowl vapes. But essentially, a premium quality vape is going to be your best friend in terms of lowering your tolerance if you're switching to dry vaping. If you buy like an £80 vape, and I know that sounds like a lot of money, but in dry vapes, it's not. And if you buy an £80 vape, which is what I did to start off with, I bought all extras with it. It cost me about $120. It was the X Max V3 Pro. It's all right, but if you're going straight from combusting, if you've never vaped before, you might be fine with that. But if you're going straight from combusting, for me, it just wasn't the one. And I put myself in it. I give myself 2 weeks and said, if I stick with it and I don't smoke, then I'll buy a better one. I wish I didn't do that in a lot of ways, because a lot of it's your mindset anyway. If you want to do it, you will do it. I did stick with it for 2 weeks. I then bought a better vape, and wow, it made a world of difference. The Ariza Solo 3 was what I bought. that thing was brilliant in comparison. And then I went one step further and got the Tiny Mite, and I've had various vapes since. Like I say, the higher quality you go, if you're going for these ones that are more like the £300 mark, now obviously you can get discounts, you can get sales, there's ways to get things cheaper, but for the most part, anything that's like 100 quid or under, it's not going to deliver anywhere near the same experience as you're getting through smoking. None of them are going to deliver the same experience because you're vaping, but some people will almost argue when you get a high quality vape that it's very strong compared to smoking, like it's too strong for them. And that's because maybe, I don't know, maybe their tolerance is lower. I don't know, there could be so many things. I don't even think it's just tolerance. I think there's a lot of reasons why people find that a vape is stronger, and a lot of it is to do with how much you're extracting out of it compared to how much you're wasting when you're smoking it. So yeah, dry herb vape and device kind of tying into that first, I don't know what to call it, but that first pointer. Get on the dry herb vapes, man. That's what massively changed it for me. And it saved me so much money. If you think you spend 3 ton on a vape, if you're spending 3 ton on good quality flower in a week or 2 weeks, or even a month, right? Think about it. If you're spending 3 ton in a month and all of a sudden you can switch to this device and you can half how much you're using or decrease it by 60, 70%, however far you can push it, think of all the money you're going to save. So it'll pay itself off in no time. And it does. That's why a lot of people buy more and more vapes, and they get in the cycle of, oh, let me try this one and try that one, because they're saving so much on flower compared to what they were before. Now, obviously, there comes a point where you need to find what works for you. You don't have to go and buy more and more vapes, but it gives you the option to try out these other things because you've got more money, but also to just do other things in life. So yeah, device, dry herb vaping. The second one I would say is, I'd say it's your dosage, right? How much you're actually using each time you medicate. Are you going through ramming the bowl to full every single time? I know it's difficult because some vapes, especially the cheaper ones, they might require you to fill the bowl for it to work. But a lot of the more premium vapes, you don't have to fill it. You don't it's not a target to achieve where you have to put in as much as you can in that bowl. The less you put in, the more flavour you're going to be getting anyway, because it's harder for it to equally distribute through a bigger bowl on most vapes. But the more you're bringing your tolerance up, and I get it, right? If a small bowl's not done it, but you can have another one. You can always have another. Like, you don't have to just go, right, let's get a massive amount in now, and then 5 minutes later, let's do that again. Well, why don't you just do that with a third of the amount? Or even less. Like some of these microdose bowls, they're holding half of a 0.1. And I promise you, with a really good quality vape, you are feeling that. A couple of them and you are sorted for a long time. You don't need to be going through crazy amounts. But part of that is bringing your tolerance down. Through dosage, through, sticking to those doses. Maybe the first few days you're not going to get as much of the effects that you were looking for. But like I say, you could always have a couple more. You're still not going to be creeping up to anywhere near the massive amounts that you were going through previously. But yeah, dosage, man. You have to think about your dosage. You've got to be mindful of it. You've got to think, right, why am I putting this in here? And this leads me on to the next point, right? So we've got first one, dry herb vaping. Second one, dosage. Third one is delays. So I would say, think about why you're consuming this medicine. Do you need it right now, or can you delay it somewhat? Because obviously, I'm not telling anyone to delay taking your medication if you need to take it, right? Because that's not a smart thing to do. However, if you're taking it because you're used to taking it all the time, because that's what you've done when you were on legacy market and you weren't thinking about it as medicine, then just think about what you're doing a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Just think, do I need to have this right now, or do you reckon I'll be fine for another half hour? It's not running away. It's not going anywhere. That's a key thing, honestly. If you just delay using it, you'll get stuck into doing more stuff a lot of the time. You can get more... what this tends to do is just... The whole point of what I'm saying in the video is it decreases your tolerance, because you're not just going through it over and over and over and over and over again. When you do those things, your tolerance increases. Now, obviously, things like, your Benjamins, your concentrates, these are something you have to be very mindful of, especially on dosage, because you can easily blow your tolerance right out of the water if you're not careful with tolerance. On a pen, it's much harder to maintain because it's like, how big of a draw did you do? What was the temperature at? You can't see how much it's used. Do you know what I mean? With dabs, obviously, you know, and all your other concentrates, hashes, things like that, you can see how much you're using. You could even measure it out if you wanted to, and you can be consistent with it. But you have to do that. You have to see, this is the dose I'm having. I'll see how I feel, and then I'll try more, and then I'll delay for X period of time, rather than saying, let's just have another, let's just have another. Because sometimes you can have something and within 15 minutes, you're feeling great from it, but you didn't feel it within 2 minutes or 3 minutes to that level. So you have 2 or 3 more. And then 15 minutes later, you're going to feel over-medicated for a start, but all you're going to do is just bring your tolerance up. Like, I get it. If you're looking to go to bed, for example, delaying your tolerance is not, delaying your dosage. That's too much. Too much fucking D's here going on. Delaying your dosage. Delaying your dose, right? Delaying it if you're going to bed, it's not ideal. You need to think about this. And this is where it brings me into the fourth one, which is discipline. And this is the main key point to all of this stuff above, is discipline. You need to be on it and be true to yourself and say, right, look, it's bedtime now, so I'm going to have a bowl, and I'm not going to give it 45 minutes before my next one, because I actually want to go to bed in the next 45 minutes. And normally it might take me 2 or 3 bowls to get to that position where you're ready to go off to bed within a succession of the right flour at a small amount of time. So you need to do it. I'm not saying delay it all the time, but you do that, and then the next day you get up and you have 3 bowls as soon as you get up. That's not delaying it. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's where the discipline comes in, and you say, do I need to have this right now? Should I have maybe a little bit less? Should I lower the temp to get less of those sedative terps and something that's more daytime? Just change the strain over. Changing the strains over definitely helps. But massively, above all, it's discipline, people. If you ain't got discipline, you're not going to do it. The same way we're switching to dry herb vaping. I say it to everyone all the time. Dry herb vaping is brilliant, but forcing yourself to switch to it when you don't want to switch to it, it's an uphill battle, mate. It's like pissing in the wind. You're going to have to sell yourself on wanting to change to dry herb vaping. You need to research why they're good. You need to speak to other people. Like Lee at Tabletop Bong, that geezer pushed me over the edge of going, you know what, I'm going for it. Because he said he's not getting all the shit in the morning, coughing up and bringing up from smoking. He's using way less, so he's saving loads of money. He can taste everything way better. Like, he's never tasted flour the same way before. All these things started to add together, and I'm like, you know what? I actually want to do that. I don't want to be blazing through big warheads anymore. Like, I used to think that was sick, and I used to it was like a flex to myself. Like, yes, let's roll a big warhead. Nah, man, fuck that. I'd rather put the tiniest amount and consume the tiniest amount through a vaporizer, taste it properly, get the effects of it properly, have more control over what effects I want to take out of it, depending on the time of day or what I'm looking for. And it's just a way easier way to stay disciplined with it. Rolling zoots, it's much harder. Like, if you're weighing every zoot out, fair enough, but I don't know anyone who is. And you may have gone through a point of trying to do that, but it doesn't stick, man, because then one time you want, a bigger one for whatever reason, and then you have a bigger and a bigger. You just got to be disciplined, mate. You've got to be disciplined. And people do it with smoking, they keep disciplined. But I think all 4 of these things together of what has helped me manage to bring my tolerance down from that 4 or 5 zips down to 1 to 2 max. I don't really go to 2, like I say, anymore. And this is the reason why now I've got a few different vapes that are actually able to use concentrates. I'm thinking about using concentrates again. I am thinking about it because beforehand, I didn't have that discipline at that same level. And so what concentrates would do was ruin my tolerance. Concentrates won't ruin your tolerance if you are disciplined with it. You will ruin your tolerance. You can't blame things on everything else. Like, you're in control of your life and what you do every day. If you're just going through bowl after bowl, loading bigger bowls, getting bigger vapes with bigger bowls, or getting bigger papers to put more in, and then throwing rosin in it, and all these things, I'm not knocking you, yeah, but that's not going to help your tolerance. So that's what we're speaking about in this video. How did I bring mine down? How do I maintain it? Both of those things have been done by all 4 of those what I'm talking about. So it's your dry herb vaping, it's your dosage, it's delaying how often you're going to have it, but being disciplined about how often you delay it, because there's pointless, like I said, if you're trying to go to bed, there's no point delaying it because you're not going to get the effects you're looking for, and then you're going to be sat up all night. So there's a time and a place, and that's where you've got to be disciplined. You've got to think about what you're doing, be a bit present, and say, what do I need from this? What am I looking for from this? And I know, certainly myself, I'm not looking to spend every single penny, like I said, on my flower every month. It's just not for me. That's why I don't go for these massively expensive strains no more, among many other reasons. But I don't bother. I used to be the geezer go into DAM, right? I literally used to be this guy, and I'd go in and I'm buying £35 a G, £45 a G, or euros, whatever. It was at that point, at one point when I was there, it was very similar in pounds to euros. But you get a moon rocks from one Hulk, £45 or €45, whatever it is, and you're buying a few Gs, and you're throwing it in a couple of zoots, and you don't realise what you're doing to your tolerance, and you're doing that every single time you go there, and you're buying flower at 35 a G. That honestly, if you go to the right place, you're getting stuff for 12 that's just as good. I was in the plug in Barca, and the manager was saying to me, oh, you see these Cali ones, yeah, they're all right, because I was saying I had the gelato, 41 I think it was. Honestly, it was not for me. It was a waste of money. It was €45. This was out in Barca, and it wasn't the one for me. I got the Runts, which is the same price. That was actually brilliant, really, really nice. But I was speaking to the manager about it, and he was saying, fuck that, try that Canadian one up there, the blue sherbet. That's way better than all the others, and I think it was 14 a G. way better. Quality-wise, the effects from it, freshness, everything about it was just way better. And I think, yeah, anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. In terms of tolerance, they're the 4 things you need to keep out on. Big up everyone for being here, man. I appreciate every single one of you. If you've gone to this point in the video, drop the 420 in the comments below. I appreciate all these, man. On a real, this wouldn't be happening. None of this stuff. Like, don't forget, people, we've got these giveaways as well. The Lotus is there to be given away. This is a very high quality and extremely good for keeping your dosage low. Obviously, you need to be disciplined, but the efficiency on this thing is unreal. Check out the channel. I've done an unboxing. I will be doing a full review on it as well. We're giving one of these away. We're giving a Vatman click away. I've not actually tried and unboxed this yet, but I will be doing. And we're also giving away a Solo 2. So big up the CD side for this. Big up Inhale Vaporizers for those two. Make sure you go and check out that giveaway, people. And don't forget the merch. You've got 4 days left to pre-order now. Big up everyone who's pre-ordered the merch. You will be getting some goodies added into the orders just for being the OGs that have popped the orders in. We're talking key rings, and I ain't going to say too much, but big up everyone, man. I proper appreciate every single one of you. Whether you do, comment, like, subscribe, share, whether you pre-ordered the merch, whether you're a member of the channel, whatever it is that you've done to support, even if you're just here and watching the video and you never dropped a comment, I fucking appreciate you, man. Massively appreciate you. Yeah, huge love to every single one of you that have made this community what it is. Make sure you go and join the Discord if you ain't already. And yeah, that's it, people. I'm going to leave it there for today. Tolerance, that's how I manage it. That's how I've lowered it, and I'm actually proud of the fact that I've done that, and I've saved so much money, and I actually get so much more effects out of it now. So yeah, I just thought I wanted to share that with you people. Hopefully there's someone out there that hears that and thinks, you know what, that's a different perspective on things. I might think about approaching it a bit more like that. Like I say, it's no advice though, you know the score. Big love, people. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Catch you in the stream on Friday. Peace.